Ever feel like the world's trying to standardize you?
Uh,
I mean, make you fit in, follow all the rules?
yeah.
Well, imagine that, but like on an empire-wide scale,
Okay.
back in ancient China, under Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor,
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of the deal.
Yeah.
We're going deep today into his story.
Wow.
Brutal rise to power, crazy reforms he made, and get this,
What?
the impact he still has on China today. We're talking ancient texts,
Right.
historical accounts, even some modern takes on the guy. It's going to be fascinating.
I love it.
Ready to unearth some history.
Let's do it.
Okay, so got to set the scene first.
Okay.
We're talking China, 250 years BC, give or take.
A while ago.
7 warring states, all fighting for control.
Yeah.
Like picture Game of Thrones, levels of chaos, but in ancient China.
It really was. It's important to grasp that world he was born into. Total fragmentation, constant power struggle.
So total recipe for drama, basically.
Oh, absolutely.
But wasn't there like a unified China before all this?
You're right, there was. This whole warring states era, it came from the decline of the Zhou dynasty.
Oh, okay.
And for centuries, that dynasty, it was a golden age, you know. Classic Chinese civilization.
But like all empires, eventually.
yeah, they lose their grip, things fall apart, and bam, you get chaos.
So Zhou dynasty weakens, these 7 kingdoms pop up, everyone wants the throne.
Exactly.
Seems volatile.
Very much so.
Did anyone try to, calm things down, bring back some order?
Oh, absolutely. You had philosophers like Confucius rising up, advocating for harmony, a return to order.
Makes sense.
Their ideas, by the way, they become huge in how people viewed the first emperor even centuries later.
Ah, interesting.
But alongside that peace-loving stuff, something a lot harsher was brewing,
Oh.
especially in the state of Qin, a powerful one. And that was legalism.
Legalism.
Yeah, and it really shaped the first emperor's whole deal.
Legalism. That sounds intense. Like, how was it different from, say, Confucius's ideas?
Night and day, really. Confucianism, it's all about moral leadership, kindness, individual virtue, that sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
Legalism, nope. State power above everything. Strict laws, harsh punishments.
Wow.
The idea was ruler focuses on the state's strength, even if it steps on individual rights.
So no room for debate then.
Not really.
And this shaped our first emperor.
From day one, born in Qin, a militaristic state, legalism was like the air he breathed.
Huh. Some accounts even call him like having the heart of a tiger or a wolf.
Yeah, chilling, isn't it? Shows you the ruthlessness that marked his rule.
Heart of a tiger or a wolf. That's a pretty strong image.
It is.
So this upbringing plus legalism, how did it actually play out in his leadership?
Well, his early conquest, that's how he unified China eventually. It was all fueled by this philosophy.
Oh.
He believed in grabbing power by any means necessary. Expanding Qin, that was the goal.
So not exactly Mr. Nice Guy,
Not exactly.
but effective, I guess?
Oh, incredibly so. Totally different from Confucianism's nice leadership. But it worked.
And boom, by 221 BC, he did what no one thought possible, conquered all the other states,
6 of them. Yeah.
and earned that title, Qin Shi Huang.
First emperor of China.
But that title, first emperor, it feels like, more than just a king.
Exactly. It was a statement. Like he wanted to be bigger than any ruler before him.
Ambitious much.
You could say that. It even kind of echoes the Roman Augustus Divus title.
Okay, I don't speak Roman.
But the point is, he wanted to be seen as divine, like embodying cosmic order, not just a regular king.
So a god king, basically.
Pretty much.
Got it. Once he'd unified everything, how'd he actually rule this massive new empire?
2 words. Control and standardization.
Catchy.
Unified currency, weights, measures across the former states.
Smart, I guess.
Isn't chariot axles, can you believe
Right.
it? Imagine trying to trade, travel, when every region's got its own system.
Yeah, that'd be a mess.
Total chaos. He streamlined everything.
But I bet some folks weren't thrilled about, like, their old coins being useless.
Oh, there was definitely pushback, especially with his big building projects.
like that.
The Great Wall, for instance.
The Great Wall. Propped up on skeletons, they say.
They do.
But wasn't a wall like normal defense back then? Why is this one so special?
It was to keep invaders out, sure, but it was also this huge symbol. His ambition, his control, a physical line between his civilized world and the barbarians outside.
So less a wall, more a power move.
Exactly, like a giant keep out sign to anyone messing with him.
Okay, but what about those who challenged him from inside the empire? Like, weren't there Confucian scholars who wanted a different kind of leader?
There were. He dealt with them, let's say, swiftly.
How swiftly?
To cement his power, he got rid of anything challenging his authority. Historical texts, philosophies, gone.
He burned books?
Yep. It was a message, loud and clear.
Seems extreme.
It was. There are even stories, maybe embellished, but still, about burying Confucian scholars alive.
No way.
It shows you the lengths he'd go to. He hated Confucianism, Taoism, saw them as threats.
So much for harmony.
Yeah, he wanted control of everything. Trade, ideas, you name it.
Wow.
And you won't believe what he tried to control next.
What could be bigger than an empire?
He
Tried to control death.
Oh, yeah. He was obsessed with immortality, talking to magicians, sending expeditions to find eternal life.
Like a fantasy movie or something.
Totally.
So did he find it? The Fountain of Youth.
Spoiler, he did not. In fact, the story of his death is almost as wild as trying to live forever.
Oh,
So he dies, right. But they got to get his body back to the capital.
okay.
And it's, decomposing.
Not spelling great.
Not at all. So what do? Allegedly, hide the body in a chariot full of fish.
A chariot
Ew.
full of fish to cover the smell.
Exactly. Shows you how much they still cared about his image even when he was gone.
Wow. That's a story and a half.
Mm.
But makes you wonder, how much of what we hear about this guy is true?
Right. Fact versus fiction.
Like fish chariots? Maybe a bit much.
Could be. It's a question historians still debate.
Right.
With a figure this big, the lines blur.
But even if it's exaggerated, the stories still tell us something.
Oh, absolutely. They give us glimpses into his reign, his impact, even if the details are fuzzy.
So, okay, fish chariots aside, what happened after he actually died? Did the empire just collapse?
Well, his dynasty only lasted 4 years after him.
That's not long.
Nope. For a guy who seems so in control, kind of ironic,
It is. But his vision for a unified China.
that stuck around for millennia.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
But besides just unifying, what else did he actually leave behind?
Well, besides that Great Wall we talked about, there's the Terracotta Army.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures.
Discovered in '74 near his tomb, thousands of life-size figures, super detailed, archers, infantry, chariots, horses, the whole deal.
Like an ancient don't mess with China sign.
Kinda, yeah, but the main idea was to protect him in the afterlife, it's thought.
So, eternal bodyguards.
Pretty much. Shows how important he thought he was, even after death.
But beyond just the sheer size of it, what else does the Terracotta Army tell us?
It shows how skilled his empire was. Craftsmanship, industry, all of it. Each figure unique, even though there's thousands.
I've noticed that in photos, like the faces are all different.
Right. They used molds, standardized parts, but still, the detail is crazy. Shows real planning.
To do that back then, it's mind-boggling.
It is. Shows his vision, his organizational skills, no doubt.
And that ability to organize, control things on that scale. You
Yeah.
kind of see echoes of it in China throughout history.
Totally. It's like the past still influences the present in ways you might not expect.
Speaking of the past, we've painted this guy as a pretty ruthless dude.
Yeah.
Book burner, tyrant, all that.
Mm-hmm.
How's he viewed in China today? Still a villain.
It's complicated. For a long time, he wasn't exactly popular, especially early on with the communists.
Right. Emperors and communism don't really mix.
How so much? But around the 70s, things shifted.
Really? How so?
Chairman Mao, he enters the picture. Now, he's communist, but he also wanted a strong, unified China.
Makes sense.
And in that goal, he kind of found a role model in Qin Shi Huang.
A communist leader looking up to an emperor. That's unexpected.
It is. But Mao saw in him a blueprint for achieving what he wanted. Power, unity, all that.
Interesting. And he wasn't shy about this admiration.
Not at all. There's a quote, maybe not totally confirmed, but Mao basically brags about being even more ruthless than the first emperor.
He was bragging about being more ruthless.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking, but it shows how Mao used this historical figure to justify his own actions, make them seem okay even.
So using the past to control the present.
Exactly. Did it work? To an extent. State media started portraying Qin Shi Huang better. Focused on the unifying, modernizing parts.
And after Mao.
Continued.
Right.
Even now, it's mixed. Some folks criticize him, especially those who like democracy and all that. But there's also more admiration now, like acknowledging he shaped China, for better or worse.
It's amazing how history can change, depending on who's telling it.
Absolutely. It's always being rewritten, reinterpreted. Qin Shi Huang's a perfect example.
He is. You know, with Qin Shi Huang, it's tough to say, was he a tyrant or a visionary?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's still causing debate today.
He is?
But there's this one thing we haven't really dug into.
What's that?
This whole book-burning, scholar-burying thing.
Oh, right. His attempt to, as Borges put it, abolish history.
Borges?
Jorge Luis Borges, the writer.
Oh, okay.
It was bold, trying to erase the past, control the narrative, but history's tough to kill.
It really is. But what was he even going for with that? Just silencing people, or was there more to it?
Well, on the one hand, yeah, he wanted his version to be the only one. A unified China under him.
Classic power move.
Totally. But it also fits with legalism, that whole control above all else thing.
Right.
He figured control the past, you control the present and the future, too.
But isn't that kind of impossible? Like, memories, stories, they stick around even if you burn the books.
Exactly. That's what makes it so interesting. He tried so hard, but it backfired.
How so?
Even if you shut everyone up, the past leaves traces. In culture, language, how people remember things. And in China, history wasn't just facts. It was identity, morals, how they saw the world.
So he tried to erase it, but maybe made it even more important.
You could say that, like forbidden fruit, right? The more you hide it, the more people want it.
Yeah, I see that.
And it gets better. After he's gone, guess who takes over writing history? The Confucian scholars. The very guys he tried to silence.
Oh, the irony.
They shaped the narrative, and guess what? They're not big fans of the first emperor.
So they got the last word?
They did. But it makes you think, how much do we really know about this guy?
Right. We've got the Terracotta Army. That's awesome.
Amazing find.
But also all these conflicting stories, myths, propaganda. Can we even get a clear picture?
It's like a puzzle with missing pieces. Some might not even be from the right puzzle.
Frustrating.
Yeah. But that's history, isn't it? We get as close as we can, but the full truth.
Maybe it's lost.
Maybe. But with Qin Shi Huang, the questions are important too.
How so?
They show his legacy's still alive. We're still debating him 2,000 years later. He's an enigma.
He is. So what's the takeaway for our listeners then? What can we learn from all this, even today?
Well, it shows that power fades. Dynasties, empires, they crumble. But ideas, those stick around.
Like what kinds of ideas?
A unified China, that's still huge today. Confucianism, still influential. Even the dangers of wanting too much control.
Yeah, I see that.
Qin Shi Huang's story, it still matters. It shapes how we see China, leadership, history itself.
It's true. History isn't just dates and names. It's about understanding how we got to where we are now.
Absolutely. And maybe it pushes us to question what we're told. Dig deeper, look for different viewpoints.
Because history is rarely simple.
Right. It's messy, full of different voices. We piece it together, but the full picture...
And maybe that's always out of reach.
Maybe. But that's okay. So, listeners, we've thrown a lot at you today.
We have. Ancient China, philosophy, politics, ambition. It's a lot.
It is. But Qin Shi Huang's story keeps going. Even now.
And it encourages us to keep learning, keep exploring. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the first emperor. Keep questioning. Keep seeking the truth wherever it leads.